Hey everybody, it's Ed, and the future is now. And the future is predicting the future. Wait, what? No, you're never supposed to predict the future, right? Well, let's think about that for a minute. Every single investment that you make, you are buying that stock or whatever, predicting that to go higher or lower depending on what you're doing. You are predicting the future. Okay? Well, let's talk about it like Elon Musk. What would he say? Well, this is not really a prediction. This is a forward-looking statement. Okay. Well, we just ran the bear flag, and I think the bulls are running out of a little bit of steam. Okay. So I'm going to show you two stocks: Tesla and Space, Virgin Galactic, and two ETFs. Okay, SPY and the Ultra VIX, UVXY. I'm going to show you how I basically just, briefly the trades that I was making today and then how it's leading me into Monday based on what I saw over the trading day. Okay. So before we get into it, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel, and you'll get all the future info on, when we're buying stuff, selling stuff, what I see from the technical analysis, the charts, Tesla, space, all kinds of different stocks. So, but let's start with Tesla, okay? And let's start on the 5 minute. Okay, today we traded Tesla, and I was a little nervous all day. I mean, Tesla more or less went up and bounced up all day, but I was still nervous trading it. And so I was being very cautious. And we did well. You can see upper left-hand corner for trading wise, we did about $1,388 for the day, which is pretty solid. I mean, but I'm only risking about 5 to 10% of the portfolio to do so. If I was risking 100% of the portfolio, we would have made $13,000 today doing the same thing. But that would be a massive risk based on what I don't know, which is the news. Okay, the news drives a lot of the traffic, so I don't want to base all of, put my eggs in one basket all on the news. So, anyway, that's basically a safe percentage. I mean, you could do 5% or 10 or 20 depending on your own risk tolerance. Right now in this bear market, I would rather be at about 5 to 10%. So anyway, so that means we're trading about 50 to 200 shares of Tesla in and out on day trading. So I'm very careful with that, and I'm not, doing a ton with that. So we made a good amount of money on Tesla, maybe $300 or $400 positive on Tesla. We were also shorting space today. Okay, space was having a lot of trouble today, and it was stalling. So I did some shorts on space, but we'll get into that as well. But I basically want to show you the flag, okay? And we talk about the flags, and I consider myself an expert on the flags, whether it be, bull flags, bear flags, pennants, whatever. I consider myself an expert because I always seem to notice them, analyze them, and I'm usually good on my forecasting. So you can see in the green, okay, that green channel was this stimulus package hype and boost, okay, all the way up to signing, which was only a few minutes ago, okay. But you can see that it broke that, okay. That's the sign to me to exit. Now, when it broke, okay, fine, it ran up, but you can see where we actually shorted. We're actually shorting 20 shares of Tesla because it was super high, and it's not moving radically. So it's a very small position, and it's not moving super radically. Okay. So you can see basically it's staying in that range of 500 support to about 525 resistance. So we shorted right at the 525. Okay, and we might buy back in long on Monday at the 500 potentially if it gets to 500. I mean, it could gap up and turn back into more of a bull market. I'm not saying it can't. I'm just going on the percentages. So my percentages for this being a bear flag breakdown would be about 70% down, maybe 30%. We get some great news, or something happens and pushes us back up. So, but I'm betting on the 70%. If I was going to flip a coin and my coin weighed 70% heads and 30% tails, I'm going to pick heads. Okay? Over time, that 70% is going to kick in. I mean, it doesn't mean I'm right here, but I'm just saying this is what I see. You can see the flag, plain as day, went down, bottomed out, and then it kicked back up on this whole stimulus package, and now it lost some steam and it's kicking down. Now, if we look at the 5 minute period, I look towards the end. What happened to the end of the day? Okay? The end of the day, I saw it stalling right here, and I'm like, you know what? People are not going to want to hold into this weekend. Okay, it's not like we're going to have a ton of amazing news coming Monday or Tuesday necessarily. So I said, you know what? People are probably going to peel it off. They're going to take their profits on Tesla. They're going to do whatever. The traders are going to get out and everybody's going to evac. Sure enough, that's what they did. And massive sell-offs and into the close. I mean, it went from about 525 down to 510 and anyway, it was going up very slow all day and then boom. So that's not a good sign. To me, that's a sign that people don't want to be holding it over and it could potentially gap down. Somebody asked me today on Twitter, you think it's going to gap up or gap down? I immediately said, I think it's going to gap down. That's just, I'm making that prediction this time. And I'm making it with actual capital, meaning I'm leaving investments in. You can see the investments on the bottom. I have Space, Tesla, and the Ultra VIX short-term future, okay? ETF. Now, I'm shorting Space, shorting Tesla, very slight. I mean, 20 there and 500 on Virgin Galactic, and basically I'm going long on the Ultra VIX, okay? Because it works inversely with the S&P. So, and in the good news there, let's go to the Ultra VIX. We're going to swing back and forth for a minute. So I'm going to go to the Ultra VIX. And now what did that do into close? It went ballistic north, meaning everybody said, hey, we have more downside coming into Monday. It'll probably gap up. People are betting that way. So I'm betting that way as well. But we actually bought in the Ultra VIX down. You can see the green bar there. That's our price point. It'll pop up the line where we bought in or we're holding. So once again, a good move because we're already up 261 just at the close the last 20 minutes. So all of this happened basically in the last 20 minutes. Made money in Tesla and some trades all day long, got it up to about 1,000. And in the last 20 minutes with the VIX, with Space shorting and Tesla shorting, I pulled in another 400 buffer for Monday, meaning that if it does gap up, no big deal. We just lost the profit that we just made in the last 20 minutes. So I have very, low risk at this situation, okay? Because we already snatched into a profit here and it's looking positive. You can see that in the extended hours upper left-hand corner, it's already up $2 in extended hours, after hours, 3%. So that's another good sign that I made the right call here. It doesn't mean it's going to be right. I mean, things could turn around and all of a sudden it could be down $10 or more a share. But we still have some buffer there. With 100 shares of the Ultra VIX, if it goes down $10, that would be $1,000. So we're still only losing 1,000, but we gained all that extra money going into the close. So I have a little bit of a buffer zone there. Now, if we go to Space, let's see where we're at on Space. You can see Space up here where we shorted. Well, we shorted way up here because I saw it turning over. I shorted here. I sold it in at about, let's see, I shorted somewhere in 1564. And then it really started peeling off, caving. And I was like, you know what? I better take this 400 profit or 300 profit. And so I did. And I ended up selling it right around 15. I think it was 1539. So it was a pretty good move. And then it did bounce back up. And then I was like, okay, why not pull the trigger again? So I pulled the trigger again and was going to leave it in for Monday. So we're leaving that short in Monday. And the reason that I'm doing these stocks is they're volatile. Tesla, highly volatile. Space, highly volatile. The VIX is super volatile. So I'm betting low amounts of percentage of portfolio, but I'm betting on volatile stocks based on my prediction. So even with a little bit of money invested, I can make good returns off of that. Okay. And like I said, I have a cushion now. I could go into, if I was negative for the day instead of up 1300 for the day, if I was negative for the day, I would be less inclined to do this. But now we were up for the day, so I have a little bit of cushion. So I can take a little bit more risk going into Monday based on my predictions of what's going to happen. And if it gaps down huge and maybe tanks on Monday, even to Tuesday, I could potentially leave this trade, all three of these trades in, all week long, depending on, what direction the market turns in, and if there's any major news that's swinging the market one way or another. So you can see what we did with space. You can see what we're doing with Tesla. But I really wanted to be careful with Tesla. Main reason is I'm not a big fan of shorting, something like Tesla because it's such a monster mover. It can be moving positive. I mean, they could do something amazing, and all of a sudden it just jumps up like $50 a share. So I'm very cautious with Tesla. So, and once again, we're up $200 already and only have 20 shares. It's not like I'm invested 200. I had 200 shares going north Tesla today, and I was like almost in panic mode. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna cave. This is gonna cave. At some point in time, and I was just too paranoid holding that many shares. It was like it was over $100,000 worth of Tesla. So going into where I thought a potential bear flag breakdown. So I was super like, nervy on that trade. So anyway, that goes with the trades, and like I said, you can see the 5 minute there. That flag is plain as day. You can see the break, plain as day. That is a break. And then it bounces up and it usually kicks down. So I think I'm actually in ideal for this position. I'm in literally in the best possible spot to take the least amount of risk. But this is for everything. I mean, if you go to the Ultra VIX, now the Ultra VIX, the same scenario. Look what we got here. This is the 5 minute chart, okay? But you can see that it's gone down huge. It went from $133 a share down to $45 a share. So this is also a high risk scenario. The only reason I'm doing this is because one of my subscribers mentioned this stock, and let's pull it up. They mentioned this stock back, I can't remember if it was 40 or 60, and I almost pulled the trigger and bought it. But I was like, I didn't know enough about it. I didn't understand it. It's not a stock, okay? This is, you're betting on the volatility. You're betting basically on short interest. I mean, this was so scary. I just didn't understand it. So I read a little bit about it to learn a little bit about it. Go to sixfigureinvesting.com and check it out. You'll see how it works. Okay, it's been going down for years, and now it broke this trend. It bucked this trend. But anyway, I'm not going to read all of this about it, but it basically, shows, how it moves or why it moves, and basically what's the principle of it. Okay, so anyway, he made a good move, and I hope he bailed out at the top, somewhere near the top. But I'm glad kind of I didn't get in, because if I would have, I could have potentially lost thousands up at the top, not knowing what I'm doing here. But you can see it looks like it kicked the 20-day moving average. You can see again where we actually purchased at the end of the day. Granted, we actually made a few hundred during the beginning of the day, because when the S&P was having trouble. So, but anyway, you can see where we're at. So, and it's already gapping up about $3 or 4.5%. I mean, I can literally try to get out in after hours right now, maybe for $70 a share, and just book my $300 more profit and exit the situation. But I am betting on the market turning over, breaking that flag, and potentially the Ultra VIX going up to about 80 or 90 before it could potentially turn. So I'm basically, betting this bounce, and I am going to cut it. I mean, I'm not sure, ballparking maybe 70 to possibly 90. I mean, it just depends on if I'm stuck holding it over during any of the Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday days, to Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, etc. So anyway, so this is a little tricky. Don't know much about it, but I mean, I understand the concept. So I'm basically, hedging my bets a little bit with this. And like I said, we're already up on the position. So, everything looks okay. And I'm all right with that. So I plan on getting long Tesla. If Tesla does come down, to the 300s or 400s range, even, I'm probably going to start picking it apart there and buying in, potentially cost averaging in the 400s, if it gets down there. I mean, that's not for certain. Okay. But you can see Tesla also getting close to bouncing that 20-day and coming down a little. So you can see the inverse in the VIX, bouncing it this way. So it doesn't mean that it's not going to just crush right through it at some point. So this is just making a prediction based on percentages. And here's the SPY, okay? So SPY is basically tracking the S&P. So you can see this bottom, which looks like a V bottom, right? But it's deceptive. This is trickery, okay? To me, if I was long in something and I wanted to duck out, I would be ducking out. But I don't, I trade, swing trade and day trade, so I'm not committed to longs yet. Okay, if you watch the video the other day when I talked about the Dow in the past and the Dow now, then you understand what I'm talking about. Go back and check that video out. I just posted it a day or two ago. And it definitely describes where we're at in the market and what I think. And that also is giving me reinforcement that I'm potentially doing the right thing. It doesn't mean I'm going to be right. We will be proven on Monday and Tuesday whether I'm right. Okay, Monday and Tuesday. You can see the SPY is down about 0.3%. Let's see where Tesla's down after hours. $4 after hours, it's down almost 1%. So that's not super severe. And the Ultra VIX, like we talked about, is up about 4%. And then space is down almost 1%, maybe 12 cents a share. So all four of those trades, the three trades that I'm in now are actually going to be more positive, at least right now. But that doesn't mean that pre-market, that doesn't completely radically turn around. But anyway, this is what I'm doing. I wanted to let you guys know. And I'm only telling you now because I basically didn't know this was going to happen or I was going to do this. This basically is me doing things quickly and trying to make decisions on that. And I saw this kick down. I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a commitment to this bear flag kicking down and and testing down at the 500 for Tesla. And if it breaks down below that, you can see a lot more downside. And I think that will pull down to even 475, even lower than that before we start getting, support bounces. So anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. I'm going to cut it there, but I wanted to let you know what we're doing because I'm not usually holding over. Okay, I don't usually do that, but I'm betting that I'm betting that way. I'm betting that we're going to the south side. I could be wrong, but this is the bet I'm making, and so far, so good. It looks fine, and I have cushion. We have cushion, and I'm betting a very low percentage. So if you pull up the calculator just to show you, just so you guys understand that I'm not taking high risks. It may seem like it based on dollar value potentially. I don't know what you guys are investing or not percentage-wise, but it's based on a percentage. So if we go to space, for example, we're doing 7,600 space divided by a total of 190K portfolio value is 4%. So 4%. So basically, I really only have a chance of losing about 5 to 10% of the 4%. Okay? So let's say I lose 10% of, what was it? 10% of 7,600, is that right? So, I mean, my max value loss, if I lost 10% on this, if I was totally way off, I'm going to lose $760 on this trade. So I'm not making a massive investment there. And that would be the same for the other ones. Let's say Tesla, for example. What is Tesla? 20 shares of Tesla is $10,000. Okay. So basically $10,000 divided by 190. 190 would be 5%. So I have a chance to lose 5% of 10,000, well, approximately maybe 5 to 10% of $10,000, which is like $500. So I'm basically not risking a whole lot. I'm betting to try to make maybe $1,000 to $2,000 by open on Monday. That's what I would like to have more in the account, 1,000 on Monday. And I'll post you. I'll give you an update on Monday at open and see where we're at. And I might close the positions, add to the positions, or do something within the first 15 minutes, which I usually do. Is I usually do something based on what I think is going on in the first 15 minutes. I follow the futures, hours before the market even opens. So it gives me kind of a little bit of a future perspective on things. So anyway, that's what we're doing. So you can see that I'm not taking a heavy risk. I'm only taking 10% risk. If I was taking 100% risk on the account, we'd have made 13,000 today. I am not greedy, but I am also not stupid. Okay? So bet what you can afford to lose, percentage wise. You don't need to get greedy. I am very good about not being greedy, about being smart and being cautious. I am very low risk in investments. Doesn't mean I don't want super gains. I was a little greedy in the first few days of trading down, and I was like, wow, I'm over positioned. So now I've got my bearings, and I figure like kind of what percentage that I'm comfortable with, and so I can keep the risk down, but still kind of grind away and make a little bit of money as this market kind of stabilizes, and then load in down the road, for a long term, hopefully another 10-year bull run. So I mean that would be ideal. So, but anyway, I mean, I'm sure I'll always have trades on. I will always have things going on. So I'm going to be as versatile as I can. It's good to, be versatile and do a little bit of everything because it definitely reinforces some of your positions. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope I didn't drag it on too long. So I will talk to you guys Monday, and we'll see how we are there. All right, take care. Have a great weekend.